Hi guys, we are live. We have Amy here from 123 Petits Pas, and I'm sorry, did I say that properly with my accent thrown in there?
Oh, that's okay. I normally say un, deux, trois, petit pas. It rhymes a little better, but 1, 2, 3 works too.
Yes, I guess that makes more sense. Thank you. So we're here today to talk about French in the home, which, as you can probably tell, I absolutely need. Amy is offering a really cool service here in Ottawa where she's doing classes specifically for babies and children and toddlers to help bring French into the home. So what I've done is I've asked her to come on today to give us some tips about how we can actually do that ourselves in the home. So what I've asked of her is to give us 5 tips and ways that we as moms and parents and families can start to integrate French into the daily lives of both our children and toddlers and kids. So thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it because I obviously need it. I've already butchered your name in French. So.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be with you.
Oh, amazing. So maybe before we jump into the 5 tips, why don't you just do a quick introduction about yourself, who you are, what you do, so people can get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. So, hello, bonjour tout le monde. My name is Amy Maan, and I am the owner of Un, deux, trois, Petits Pas. So I started Un, deux, trois, Petits Pas during my maternity leave, actually. I was trying to look around Ottawa for things to do with my little boy Jude, who is now 15 months old. He's currently napping. Hopefully he stays asleep for this Facebook Live. But so I was kind of searching the city for things to do, and one of the things I really was looking for were ways to kind of help me introduce French. Now, my background, I'm a French teacher, so I was actually in... yeah. So I'm a grade 3 French teacher. Prior to that, I was a supply teacher with the public board. And so as a French teacher, one of the things that was really important to me was raising my son bilingually. And now the thing is with my situation is that I'm actually the only one in my family and in my son's dad's family who speaks French. And so it's really all on me. And that's why I wanted to go out, because I know how important it is to actually find a social circle and have other reasons for your children to use the language that they've learned. And so when I kind of went out and tried to find something that I was looking for and I couldn't find it, I thought, hey, okay, well, I'm a French teacher. Maybe this is something that the community is interested in. And so I had reached out to a few of the parent groups online, and I kind of got bombarded a little bit. My original idea was just a French workshop that I was going to do a one-time kind of spiel. And then I got asked, what about a weekly class? What about this? What about that? And so I had to really sit down and decide, okay, what am I going to offer? And that's how I kind of came up with Un, deux, trois, Petits Pas. So it's a French class for parents and their infants, parents and their toddlers, and then as well as a prep for school program.
And that's great because I know, and especially with so many of my friends, we're trying to decide between Catholic versus public board, and then the public board starts French immersion so much earlier, but what do you do until then, right? Like, how do you prepare for that? So that's where you come in.
That's exactly it. So one of the things is that, especially living in Ottawa as parents, we realize how important it is to be bilingual, right? But the thing that's difficult with that is that if you don't have the ability to introduce French before school, and yet you know how important it is, it's kind of a little bit sad news, right? To know, oh, bilingualism is so great for your children. Oh, how can I do that if I don't have the ability or the confidence to do it? And so I think that's why parents kind of jumped on the idea, and I had a lot of support in starting up, and it's because the need is there for sure. So I'm excited to be able to offer this.
No, that's amazing. So we quickly chatted about the 5 tips that you had before this Facebook Live. So let's jump into that, because I'm actually hoping I can start integrating those with my daughter as well, because she's going to be with me out of school until she goes to school, and I'm responsible for her education and well-being. I'm like, I have no idea what to do, so please just teach me. Just help me.
Okay, so to begin, I always like to start off by saying that it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have currently. You can have absolutely zero. Anybody can start introducing language as soon as you're ready to take on the challenge. And so one of the reasons why it's so great to have toddlers and to want to teach them a language is because they're at that age where it's fun to introduce a language. And so I'm going to give you these 5 tips that will, engage them, but also allow you to kind of learn at the same time. So number 1 tip is to find some keywords or phrases that you use every single day, and to look them up, see what they are in French, and to use those every single day in French. So I'm going to give you an example. So something like, come here, you say all the time with a toddler, right?
Come here, now.
Yeah. So in French, on dit, viens ici. So, viens ici.
Viens ici, Aubrey. Viens ici. Viens ici maintenant.
So, viens ici is an example of a phrase that you can use all the time. It's super easy to learn. And not only that, but it's something that they're going to hear a lot when they go to school eventually, too. So, as soon as you realize, okay, I've been using viens ici a lot, I've got it down, they understand it, then you can look up something else. And then you kind of build from there. So, that's why I say when you have a toddler, it's really, really easy to just start introducing little bits and pieces because, they're young and they're learning small things at a time. So there's no rush. You don't need to learn quickly. And you can start from 0 and just kind of build upon that. So that's one way that I automatically try and make people feel not too overwhelmed with the idea of introducing a language to their child. So Google Home, if you have it, Alexa, even Siri, you can say, hey, what does this mean? And I'm not going to say that because I actually have one and she'll start talking. But it's very accurate, and it's a great way for you to just easily hear how to pronounce what it is as well. So that's something that you can use if you don't know enough French yourself.
That's genius. Or some app or something on your phone too, like a translate. Yeah.
Exactly. So then the next thing that I like to say, so tip number 2 is children's book. So go find a really simple French kids book. I got an example here actually. So, Je t'aime de la tête aux pieds.
Yeah, we have the English version of that. And I only know not because of the name, but because of the picture on the front.
Yes. That's okay. So actually, that's a great thing, too. If you have an English version and you want to go out and get the French one, then you'll know exactly what it means. But just one French book will help you introduce that language to them, because with kids' books, they've got pictures, you can understand the meaning so easily. There's a lot of repetition, so they'll learn the vocabulary, and you will learn it very quickly as well. You can also, if you have absolutely no idea how to read French, there's often people who post themselves reading the book on YouTube or something like that. So if you wanted to look up a book, go on YouTube, find, French book, and you'll actually find some people reading a book.
It's crazy that exists.
Yeah, and then you can learn from that, learn how to pronounce it, and then you're set. And so even just one book, you can talk about with them, point at les couleurs, find the colors, you can count with them, you can obviously learn what the book is saying. There's so much you can learn with just one book. So I always say, try and go out and get one French book, learn how to read that French book, and you've already helped them so much just by starting from there.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so tip number 1 was starting with small phrases. Tip number 2, get a French book. So tip number 3, are we on to 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So tip number 3 is that songs and music are one of the best ways to help with language learning, especially with children. And so that's because it really helps with memorization. You're much more likely to remember something that you've learned if there's a fun little tune to go along with it. But also it's so widely available that you can go and you can search French songs. I'm going to actually share a link with you after, Erica, that will have all of my suggestions and everything, so that people don't need to go on a massive search through YouTube. But yeah, so songs, especially if they have actions involved, they're going to love singing with you, and also, again, you get to learn along with them. So that's tip number 3, is the music.
I will say, too, about all the resources that you have. I know that from having worked with you and got some of these tips from you myself, is that you're really, really good about documenting all these tips and just giving them away to everybody who needs them. So once you get that link, she also has a link with like it's just basically a library of resources. It's
Yeah.
crazy how much work you've put into it. So we'll share that link with you guys as well. So again, that you're not having to remember all of this.
Exactly.
And someone just said too in the comments, I had no idea people reading books on YouTube was a thing. I didn't either. Like and it is a great idea, but it's just crazy that the world has come to this. Like it's so handy. But anyways, that's just my moment.
No, it's one of those things that has really enabled everybody to learn a language because it's so accessible now with technology. So, actually that leads me on to tip number 4 is technology.
There we go.
Yeah, so for those who aren't fully confident in their ability to introduce a language, technology is your best friend in that regard. So already we've talked about how you can look things up on YouTube, like reading in French. You've got your songs and your music in French. But also you've got TV shows, even Paw Patrol, Peppa Pig, all of those famous TV shows that I'm sure you watch.
Great TV shows. I love Peppa. She's my best friend. There's no mean to Daddy Pig, but anyways, that's besides the point.
So instead of throwing those on in English, you can throw them on in French. They're all available online on YouTube for free. You can also change your Netflix to be French.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the best tip I think you've ever said, because I feel like a crap parent whenever my daughter watches TV, which is a lot. But I would feel like a friggin' fantastic parent if my daughter was watching French Peppa or French Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
That's so genius.
That's the thing. So for me, I know a lot of people shy away and they want to keep away from technology, which is totally fair. As I mentioned, there are ways of using it without showing it to your child. You can use it for yourself and then pass it on. But for me, I just feel better when I know, like, I'm going to throw on a show because I need some time. It's in French, and so he's learning a language right now, right? So it just helps you to feel like, okay, this is good.
Yeah, and so Mama in a Madhouse just said in the comments, too, like, totally forgot about French Netflix. But that's such a mom win. Like, that's huge. Sorry, I'm really excited about this because my husband and I struggle with this all the time because we feel like the parent guilt is real.
Oh, no.
Now I feel like I'm going to be a great educational parent. Thank
There you go.
Okay. Sorry, I got you off track there.
No problem. I'm glad you're excited. So another thing is there's a lot of apps too. So there's things like Tiny Tap. I just figured out you can change the language to look for French educational apps, and they're actually made by teachers. So teachers go on and they create a little game, so about colors or about family members, something like that. And then because they have the ability to make that in the app, they actually let anybody use it for free. And so you can go on and you can find that. There's not as much in French right now, but they are building it. I've been kind of watching them progress. But Tiny Tap is one that's actually made for toddlers. So that's a good one. And then Gus on the Go is good for little older ones, so about 3 and up. Gus on the Go is a good French learning app as well.
Okay.
But as I mentioned, I used Trello, which is a cool list making website, and I compiled all of these ideas and I continue to add to it. So as people share ideas with me, I add on to that, and then I hope to share it with the community. So it's my way of kind of giving back and making sure anybody can introduce French at home as well.
Yeah, that's lovely. And again, we'll share all this information for you guys because I haven't even heard of Tiny Tap or Gus on the Go. But I'm, again, feeling already like a better parent because of this.
Okay, and then my last tip is to go out and use it in the community. So we're really lucky in Ottawa because it is a bilingual city, so you can go out and use it. An example is there's some library drop-ins where you can go and they have French story time. Okay. You can also, if you run into a neighbor who's francophone or bilingual or interested in raising their child bilingually, plan some play dates with your kids where you have them speak French and you speak French. Or if you only are, very basic in your knowledge, just say, okay, today let's have a play date, but let's have them play with these, colorful balls, and we'll say the colors in French only. And then that's your way of kind of socializing them and also introducing a language. If you want to look for a babysitter or a nanny who has the ability to speak to them in French, that's another way as well. But I really highlight the community portion because it's important to find a way to go out and use what they've learned, because then they can see how useful it is. So yeah, your, Mommy and Me French classes is a great place. And then in that class, partner up with somebody and say, hey, do you want to plan a play date? And then, yeah, use it within the city and go to a museum. They have museum tours in French if you've got older kids, different things like that. Yeah.
I often see people looking for French daycares or French babysitters in mom groups, and I feel like that's it. Sorry.
It's okay.
There we go. We're good. We just had a little... Anyways. Okay.
It's a baby.
Yeah, it's a baby. No, that's great. Okay, so let's go over and recap then the 5. So the 5 tips basically from Amy, Queen of Teaching French, from Un, Deux, Trois, Petits Pas, of how you can help integrate French into your home for your kids and babies and toddlers. So number 1.
So number 1 was to start small with some common words or phrases that you use every day.
Okay, start small, common words and phrases. Got it.
Yes.
Viens ici is the first one that she recommended.
Viens ici, or something like bravo even, is a great one too. So tip number 2 was go get a French children's book, because French children's books are the easiest way to start.
I feel like there's a whole bunch of secondhand ones out there too.
Oh, yes.
Or
libraries. Yeah,
libraries, yeah. Okay. Start small, books. Number 3 was?
Songs and music.
Awesome.
So, yeah, helps with the memory, and it's so fun.
It is. It's nice to do something too. My daughter's finally getting to the point where she'll just sit in the circle and sing songs and listen to books now, and it's lovely. Okay, number 4.
Technology. So all your YouTube, TV shows, your apps, Google Home, there's so much out there. And check out my Bilingual Babies Ottawa Facebook group for all of the things we're going to mention.
Awesome. And then number 5 was socializing with community, actually using the French, right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, awesome. So I think those are all really, really good tips, and I think that I'm starting to participate, I'm going to be participating in one of these programs coming up as well. But if you want to take things above and beyond and outside of the home, that's where you come in with your programs too. So do you want to explain a little bit about if you want to take things to the next level and jump into one of your programs, what that looks like?
Yes, exactly. So that'd be great. So basically my goal is to be able to offer a class that helps you teach exactly what we've kind of covered. So I've got our parent and infant classes for babies ages, usually I suggest 4 months is the youngest, all the way till 18 months. And then a toddler class, which is 18 months to 3 years of age. And so we do a lot of singing, we do a lot of dancing, a lot of actions. It's always important when I'm teaching is to learn the action that goes along with that word or phrase. It just helps jog your memory and keeps it fun. We do a lot of sensory play objects as well. And so I'm basically trying to create an environment that helps you realize all the things that you can then take home and make it much more than a weekly class.
And you have these classes all throughout the city, all in different times too, right?
Mm-hmm. So I've started really with a Westboro base, and then I've kind of moved on and added. So as I find the need and as people contact me, I've added a Canada, I've added Orleans recently. We're looking into possibly offering a South location. But I basically am doing the traveling to try and make it easier on all the moms and dads out there. But yeah, so Jude is in the background. He's awake now.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, my baby cried, your baby cried. This is just parent life, guys.
I just didn't want to have people hearing him in the background, oh, what a good mom. Here he is in the background.
You know what? It's I feel like an even better mom because I didn't even hear it. I just blocked it right out.
Okay, good.
Baby crying? What is that? I don't even hear it.
I could go get him and continue, or
it's totally up to you, really.
Okay, I'm gonna grab him.
Yeah, if you want to get him really quickly, he's very cute.
Okay, he'll come say bonjour.
We'll have the two. Yeah, he'll come say bonjour. He'll practice his French. We'll practice. We'll have the 2 boys in there because Jude is actually the cutest little man. I did a Facebook meeting with Amy, and I was like, I can't. I just want to squish your little baby. But this is my baby. Oh, I don't want to wake him up. Sorry, guys. Let's see where she's coming.
Bonjour.
You're so cute. Guys, give some hearts for Jude. Seriously. He's just been disgruntledly woken up from his nap, not happy with life, and got thrown onto a Facebook Live. Jude, you are a trooper.
One day he'll see this video and it will be funny.
That's true. Now, does Jude come to the classes with you as well?
Yeah, so he comes to my weekday classes.
Okay.
He doesn't yet come to my weekend classes because he's not quite at the age, but I do hope to get him and his daddy into our toddler classes because his daddy needs to learn some French. So
that's true, because you're the only French one. You teach him. Okay, so you have all these awesome classes that people can sign up for throughout the city, for all ages up to toddler, and basically preparing kids for being school-age kids and speaking French.
Yes.
Now, you did mention something to me, and I would love for you to explain it a bit more, because you're also offering a French summer camp this year, which sounds really cool.
Yeah, so Jude and I are super excited about the summer.
Can't you tell Jude is really excited right now?
He's so
excited. Thrilled. With Austin. Austin is just...
my regular locations actually offer their own summer camps, and so I had to kind of think of other ideas for what to do with my French classes during the summer. And I realized, hey, why don't we, take advantage of the Ottawa beautiful weather in the summer and kind of explore as we learn our French. So I've kind of kept it at our weekly classes. I've tried my best to keep it on a one day a week, so Thursday mornings. But then I've kind of added as needed here or there a different time or date, depending on the activity. And so what we're going to be doing is exploring Westboro and Hintonburg activities that pertain to families, and so things that you can go out and do. So we're going to Ottawa Gymnastics in Westboro. We're going to go to Dover Court, and we're going to go swimming in their indoor pool. We're going to go to Parkdale Park and have a picnic. We'll do Parkdale Park, their wading pool. We'll, blow bubbles, and we're gonna have an arts day. We're gonna have a beach day at Westboro Beach, and so basically it's just different locations, and I'm gonna change up the vocabulary that's learned that day and the songs that we sing based on the location. So, for example, when we're swimming, we might learn Les Petits Poissons dans l'eau, and it just makes it that much more fun and engaging. And I've opened the age range up because the activities are so fun for such a wide range of ages. It's from 0 to just under 3 years old. And that's just because I think that moms and dads alike will just enjoy it no matter what their age or what age their baby is. And yeah, so that's what we're doing this summer.
Honestly, that sounds like so much fun. That's a great idea because you're getting something new every week and you're putting the things that you're teaching the kids into context. I think that's the really cool part, right? Like you're talking about swimming, and they're in a swimming pool with a whole bunch of other friends and parents and people that can relate to you who are going through the same thing, who can speak French back to them.
Exactly. And I wanted to also just make sure that people were able to have fun outside as well and not just be stuck in a room. Although we do have a lot of fun in our regular classes, when the weather is beautiful, I want to take advantage of it. And then the locations as well, it just kind of opens everybody's eyes to what's available throughout Ottawa, and it helps share the services offered by other locations in the area as well. That's
amazing. So how much time left do people have to sign up for this? How do they sign up for this?
So our website, so www.123, so the number is 123, and then Petit, don't forget the S in Petit, petitspas.com. A lot of people forget the S. That's French lesson is that because there's multiple pas, so multiple steps, you need an S in your Petit.
Thank you. That's really helpful. So we'll put the links so you guys can actually have the clickable links. We'll put the clickable links in this video when it's done, so people can jump right to it because there's an S in Petit. We just because there's multiple steps.
Yeah. So you go to register and then summer programs, and then it will have all the details there about our summer program. You could always also email us at info@un2petitspas if you have any questions. But yeah, that's their best bet. And then our Facebook page is also where I share kind of all the updates as we go. So it's Un2 Petits Pas Ottawa for the Facebook group.
Awesome. Okay, amazing. Honestly, thank you so much. I really appreciate you jumping on and giving these tips. I actually do have one French book that was gifted to us, and it's a Dora the Explorer book.
Nice.
And actually, yeah. So there's a comment here: Jude just reading on your lap. He's just sitting there reading the book. Such a good little trooper.
He loves his books.
Like, he's so like his eyes. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Where was I? Jude, you're distracting. Yes, no, I wanted to thank you for coming on and giving the tips. So, if you guys are just jumping on now, and what you can do is you can go back to the beginning of this video. I'm going to repost it soon. And Amy's given us 5 really great tips of how you can integrate French into your life, into your toddler's life. And for me, it's important because it's preparing the kids for school, and I'm going to dump my kids in French immersion, but I want them to know, at least a little something before they go there. So,
exactly.
Yeah, so if you want to check her out, it's www.123petits with an S, pas, pas.com, or .ca.
.com.
.com. Yeah. And if you have any questions, you can throw them in the comments. I'll make sure, or message me, I'll make sure the questions get to her, because honestly, what you're doing, I think, is awesome. And you're such a good mom, and you're just such a nice person. So, take some classes with her, guys.
Well, thank you for allowing me to, share the news, especially when you have such a cute little newborn with you. I hope everything's going well with him. He's adorable.
He's very fresh.
Jude,
look, Jude, it's a baby. We're just having a private conversation on Facebook Live with the 2 kids right now. He's like his no neck control right now. No neck at all. So, anyways, no, it's been a pleasure. Check her out, Un2 Petits Pas. Thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate it. And I hope, thank you guys, everyone who joined us, for joining us.
Thank you, Erica.
Talk to you later. Bye, guys.